Hi everyone, it's Lynn Dion here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I thought we'd make this cute little teddy bear card, and we're going to be using some images from the Penny Black collection. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off by using this cling stamp from Penny Black. It's this beautiful wreath, and it also comes with this little bird, and it's called the Tweet Wreath. And then we're also going to be using from Penny Black these creative dies, and you can see you get this beautiful collection of dies. We're going to be using this square one with the stitched edge, and this is the stitched square and circles dies. And you can see you have quite a few in the collection here. So now what we're going to do is take the Strathmore Bristol Smooth 100-pound cardstock, and we're going to go ahead and run that square die through our die cutting machine. I'm just taping it down with a little bit of purple tape, and we're going to run that through. And you'll notice that I put it on a little bit of an angle as I run it through. It's just a little less resistance, and it doesn't cause as much warping on your plates that way. So you can see that beautiful stitch border. Now we're going to use this Misty stamp positioner, and I'm taking out the foam part of the positioner because this is a thick stamp. So what we want to do is use our creative corners. I'm just using this small corner here just to bring it out a little bit so that I have a little bit of room for that to go over the edges slightly. So now I've got that position in place, and I'm going to pick that up with the Misty, and then I'm going to go ahead and start inking this stamp. I'm going to be using my Distress inks, and this is the Crushed Olive, and these are water-based inks. And I'm going to be inking this stamp up all over with this color. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. Now I'm going to stamp that 3 times. And this is the 3rd time here. And I just want to get a nice coating of ink. We're going to be adding more now. We're going to use the peeled paint. And we're just going to add this sort of towards the bottoms of the base of these leaves. And I'm just tipping the ink pad on its side a little bit just to apply that ink just part way up on those on the leaves there. And I'm just kind of working my way around, again just kind of using the side of the ink pad, and you can see there that the color is just applied towards the base. And I'm pressing that down really well and transferring that ink. You can see we're starting to build up some layers of color here now. Now I'm going to do that same thing again with the same color, just adding a second coat of this. What's nice with these water-based inks, they're going to kind of blend together a little bit here, but we're going to do some more blending in a little while. Now for my 3rd color, I'm going to use the Forest Moss, and this we're going to apply even less of. So really, just really right at the base of each of these leaves. And don't worry about it. It doesn't need to be too fussy, just kind of randomly towards the bottom of the leaves. We're just going to do this 1 time, and then we're going to go ahead and stamp that. So now you can see how pretty that's starting to look. Now I'm going to go back with that lightest color green, and I'm going to apply that all over 1 more time just to kind of blend these inks a little bit more together. And now that looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is grab the Tim Holtz detailer brush. This is a water brush, and it does have this really nice fine detail tip. And I'm just going to start to blend those colors together. Now you could certainly leave this wreath exactly as it is, you know, with the 3 colors of ink on it. But I did want to kind of blend these colors out a little bit more, so I'm just using the water brush. And again, because it is a water-based ink, I'm easily able to blend these together. And I'm kind of trying to go sort of from the base up towards the tip, and then just kind of blending it out. So I continued blending and completed all of those leaves. Now I'm going back to that crushed olive, And I'm just applying some of it to my mixed media mat. I'm just pressing some ink down on the mat, and then I'm going in with the water brush and I'm picking up that color, and I'm just going to paint in all those open leaves. And I'm not doing any shading here or anything. I'm just simply going to color them in. So I went around and I did all of those leaves. And now you can see that it's all starting to blend together. Now, after each kind of coating of color, I like to come in with my heat gun and dry things off a little bit. So now I'm going to take the Festive Berries ink, and I'm just going to color in these berries. I'm just going around. Now, what you do want to be careful of, because that green ink is a water-based ink, you don't want the two colors to bleed together. So I'm really trying to stay in the lines, being mindful that I don't pull that green color into the red color, because I don't want to make like a muddy color. So I really am carefully coloring in the centers of those berries. Now, after I did that, I decided that I wanted these berries to be a little bit darker, so I'm going over all of them one more time with another layer of the ink. Now, once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and take my heat gun and heat set this again. So now that I've got that heat set, I'm going to take the Wilted Violet, and I'm just going to add a little bit of a shadow on these berries. I kind of wanted to give the edges sort of a purpley red color, just to add a little depth here. Now, I probably didn't need to do this because I am going to come over with some Nouveau drops, the crystal drops, later, but I liked how it looked, and it added that little bit of shadow. And again, you could leave it just like this. And you can see there, you get a little bit of a shadow there. So again, I'm going to heat set this. And now I'm going to take the Tumbled glass, and again, I'm applying it to my mixed media mat here. And I know it's very hard to see, but you'll see as I start to color here. And I'm just going to squeeze another drop of water out of my water brush, just to get it a little bit more watered down. And I'm going to start to color in the background here. Now again, you do want to be careful because you don't want to pick up that green color. But if you do, don't worry about it. You can blend it out a little bit, or grab a paper towel, a dry paper towel, and just blot it up, and then continue on with your coloring. And if you feel like you still have a little bit of the green mixed in with the blue, get it a little bit wet with your brush again, and then blot it again with your paper towel, and you can continue to remove color that way. So I continued coloring this all the way around, and I'll tell you that it took about 10 minutes to color all the blue in the background. But I thought it was worth the effort, and I didn't want it to be even. I kind of wanted dark and light areas, kind of way the sky might look, you know, a little bit shadowed in some areas and lighter in others. So that completed that color, and now I'm just heat setting it again with my heat gun. Now I'm going to take the foam applicator tool, and I decided I wanted to go around the edges of this with that same tumbled glass color. And I'm just going to add a little bit of depth around all the four corners and around the edges. So I'm just simply applying that all the way around, a little bit more on the corners. And you can see that kind of makes the wreath more of the focal point. Now I'm going to grab my Jelly Roll pen in the white, and I'm just going to add a little highlight to each of those leaves. I'm just adding like a little line and then maybe a couple of dots. And you can see there that just adds a little highlight to those leaves. Now I'm going to take the Nouveau Crystal Glaze, and I'm going to place it on those berries. But you'll notice that I'm only doing one of each in each section of berries, because I do find that if I try to do 2 or 3 berries right next to each other without letting it dry in between, they seem to bleed together. So now I'm going to grab the Key to My Heart stamp set and this adorable little bear, and we're going to later be using that Just For You saying. And again, this is from the Key to My Heart set, and it does come with a second bear there and that cute little wreath and the coordinating dies. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this with diversified vintage sepia. This is a beautiful dark brown color. And this is a permanent ink, so it won't bleed or smear when we go to color with it. And I'm going to stamp this twice because I want a nice dark brown color on the bear. I just thought the brown would be a little bit more subtle than a black would be. So again, we're using a permanent ink here, and you can see that we have a nice crisp image there. Now I'm going to go ahead and start coloring with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. And I'm using the oatmeal and the dark oatmeal. I'm going back to my water brush, just cleaning it off. And I'm squeezing out a little bit of water just to get it a little bit more moist. I thought it was getting a little too dry. So I'm going to start with that lightest color and then come in with the darker color. And I'm going to start to blend those together. I sped this up a little bit for the coloring just so you could kind of see what I did here. Just applying the lightest color kind of around the edges here. And when I'm coloring in these little critters and bears and things, I like to use more of a circular motion. I feel like that gives it a little bit more the look of fur. So I'm just kind of in a circular motion pulling those colors together. Now I'm coming in with the pale pink and doing a little bit on the cheeks there. But I will be adding some more later. And then I'm just going to start blending that out. I just wanted to lay the cheek color down, just a little base of it, just to get started so I knew where that was going to be. And then I'm adding a little bit more of the light brown and blending again. Now I'm adding a little more shadow here. And you can just keep adding layers of color as much or as little as you like. I'm just trying to keep his little nose area the lightest. And then I added a little bit more of that pink color and blend that out. Now I'm going to add a little bit of shadowing along the inside edges of his arms here, or her arms. And I'm just going to continue to blend. And if you haven't used these Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens yet, they're just beautiful. They have a beautiful detailed tip on them. They're really easy to blend together. You can blend with a lighter shade, or you can blend with a water brush, whatever you find easier. In this case, I am using the water brush because it's a little bit wetter and I thought it would blend a little faster. But either way works fine. And I'm not going to do too much with that little key around the bear's neck there because we are going to be covering that. So don't worry about that. And you can see again how easily this blends together, and you can keep going back and adding your shadows. If you don't like it, if your paper gets a little too wet, you can always heat set it and then start over with your blending. I find that the Bristol Smooth paper works really well with these pens. It's my favorite paper to use with these. And I do color a lot with the Zig pens. I just think they're so fun and easy to use. So now I'm coming in with the light pink and the wine red, and I'm just going to add a little bit of wine red there and just blend those two out. And I am using the lighter shade to do the blending in this case. I just thought because that flower was so tiny, I didn't want to add the water there. And then I just decided to add a little bit more pink to the cheeks. And I'm blending that out again with the water brush. So again, don't worry about that little key. And we're going to just heat set that. And then I'm taking the coordinating die and I'm going to attach that down with my purple tape. And then I'm going to run that through my Sizzix Sidekick machine, which is my little mini die cutting machine. This is the Tim Holtz one. And I'm just going to run that through. And I love this little machine. It makes these little pieces so easy to do. Now, this is the Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen in the crystal clear. And it's just going to add a little glitter to my bear's flower there. Now I've placed that wreath in my Misty stamp positioner, and I'm just trying to figure out where that little saying needs to go. And this says, just for you. And I just want to make sure that it's straight. And then I'm coming back in with diversified vintage sepia, and I'm going to stamp that. And I did stamp that twice as well, just to make sure that I had a nice dark image. So now I'm going to grab some Scotch foam tape, and I'm going to go ahead and place some little chunks of that all around the back of this little bear, just to pop him up a little bit. And now what I want to do is from the Buttons Galore and More, the Sparklettes. These are the Red Hearts Sparklettes, and these are these beautiful little hearts. They're like crystal little hearts, and they're in kind of a reddishy pink color, which goes really well with the project we're doing. And I'm going to grab my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. I'm going to put a little dot of it where that key is around the bear's neck. And then I'm using my Silhouette Pick-Me-Up tool, which just makes it easier to pick up these little rhinestones and things. It's got a little sticky end on it. Then it has this nice flat end on the other side that you can use to kind of push the item around a little. And I'm just going to let that dry, and you can see how cute that looks. So now I'm going to take the Nouveau Crystal Glaze, and I'm going to put a little dot of it in the center of that flower. So for the card, we're going to be using a 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 square, and this is from the Lawn Fawn cardstock in the raspberry color, and this is a 100-pound weight cardstock in this beautiful raspberry tone. And then we're going to grab the soft finish cardstock from Elizabeth Crafts in the white, and this is also a 100-pound cardstock. And our card will be 5 by 5. And then this layer will fit right on that panel. So I'm going to go ahead and take some Nouveau Deluxe adhesive and put that all around the back of this card, of this panel. And then I'm going to attach it to my card. And this will be a top folding square card. So it will require a little bit more postage. So be aware of that when you're going to send these square ones. They do take a little bit more. And now I'm just making sure that's attached really well. And the reason I put glue on it was just so I could move it around a little bit and make sure that it was centered. And then I'm going to position my little bear sitting right on this wreath here. And you can see how cute that is. So now you can see that I finished doing all the crystal drops on all the little berries there. And you can see the little heart pendant, and I just think this little bear is adorable. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe, and don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.